Have you ever wondered if those cheap online welding machines are worth a darn, especially compared to some of the name brand welders out there? In this video, I'm going to take one of the cheapest welders you can buy online, and I'm going to put it to the test on a project of my own at home. Let's see how it performs. So I've got a whole video of building this plow. It's a quick plate, got off of Amazon, a plow for ATV I got off of Amazon, a few $100, and I've got a really nice plow. But there's one thing I don't love about it. The dogs are gonna be running around here. If I'm pushing one side or the other, snow can get out of the open side. I'm gonna make this a little more of a bias plow. It's gonna push to my right when I'm driving, or straight ahead will work, but I'm gonna cut off this opening by putting a piece of steel across the front there. Had to run and grab this. If you've watched the channel, you know that I primarily weld aluminum. I work on boats, right? Tom's Toons. But maybe you're watching this because you're wondering about getting a really inexpensive welder for steel around the house, around the farm, property, whatever it is. Well, Sefaspe reached out. It's been a while now. Sorry guys, at Sefaspe. They sent me this welder. It's just a little MIG. Runs on 110. It's a Flux welder. Get them on Amazon. They're like $100. But we're going to put this to the test. I'm welding on 16 and 14 gauge steel. I'm going to get this out of the box, show you what comes with it, and I'm going to see how it welds, see if we can take care of this job out here on the property, just getting my plow a little more efficient. Maybe this is something you would consider. Let's see how it does. So one of the first things you'll notice on these little inverter machines, it's really kind of cool. It's just how small they are. This is a little whip. Apparently it can stick weld too. So I've got my whip for stick welding. I've got my ground lead. So I didn't even know this machine was capable of stick welding too. I was just told it was a great little flux core machine. Comes with a little wire brush. My little bitty MIG gun. This thing's tiny. I'll show you this in a second. Really cool. I mean, considering this is a small job, small project welder, this is really fitting to be a nice, compact, small, super lightweight little MIG gun. Self-shielded flux core wire. So this is 0.8 millimeter. I've only ever stick welded steel. So this is totally new to me. Flux, typically, from everything I've seen, read, watched on YouTube, is the simplest way to get into welding steel. So we're gonna see how that goes. And then for the actual machine, this thing is so lightweight. Really compact, not going to take up a lot of space in your workshop or shed. So big plus on that. Let's get this opened up, get to welding. So here's another plus on this machine. I haven't welded with it yet, but these are little details. It's a really long cord. A lot of times you run into trouble, you try to run this on an extension cord, you end up blowing fuses. Not enough cord there to pass through the flow of energy. In MIG gun, you're going to get a little wrench, kind of a multi-use little tool there. And then contact tip. This is 1.0. There's one in there that comes with it. Let's see what size that is. So this is a 0.8 millimeter tip that comes with it. From what I can tell, it's going to feed off the bottom of the spool here. And it looks like this drive roller. It's got two sizes. We got the machine basically came set up for 8. Or 0.8, so that's what we're going to go with. I'm going to plug this in and see if I can feed some wire out. For MIG, we're going to run our gun into the negative output, and then our earth clamp, ground clamp, is going to go into the positive. Should be able to push our button and feed our wire to the MIG gun. Give this a little snip. So my only real complaint to start is I have no reference. There's no chart in here in terms of referring to settings. I'm just gonna have to guess, and we'll try a couple on some scrap stuff. But first I need to cut my piece of steel. I just picked up some steel from 16 gauge from Tractor Supply. So that's what I'm gonna be welding onto the plow as my barrier to keep snow from coming out. So I'm gonna cut that, and then I'll have some scrap pieces to just play around with real quick, see if we can get those to weld together, get our settings dialed in a little closer. But in the meantime, I'll turn this off and we'll come back to this guy. That'll work. So I'm gonna be welding on the inside here, and then I can put some tacks on the outside too. This will fit right up like this. When we're all done, I'll cut this off, clean it up a little bit. This gives me plenty of room to weld. I gotta clean this up. Probably get some of that ice off of there too, huh? Wonderful Miss Corey brought me the torch, which I was planning on preheating this anyway a little bit since it's 30 degrees out. But I also need to melt this snow that was on here from last plowing. And I'm gonna cut myself a practice piece because it'd be crazy of me to just try to weld onto here with never doing this before. For aluminum welding, I welded on scrap metal and coupons for a really long time before I ever tried to weld on a boat, let alone an accessory or something else. I don't really have anything great to set this on, so we're just gonna set it up here for now, hold it and tack it in place. Let's see what happens. And for tacking, even on aluminum, I turn the heat way up. So I'm turned way up. Let's just see what happens here. Actually, a nice little arc there. So turned all the way up, even out here cold. As soon as I let that bead get into there, it's burning through a little bit. So I'm gonna turn it down. We'll run 100 amps here and I'm just gonna try to put some tacks in. I'm really not mad at how that's getting in there. That's gonna be plenty strong. I think I can even turn it down maybe a hair more, but I'm just going spot welding essentially, I think you would call this. Not something we usually do with aluminum unless we absolutely have to, but I think I could do this the whole way and it would work really well. Looking pretty darn good. I'm gonna try just drag a weld along here and see what happens. And just for fun, we'll do a little whip and pause. Didn't fully clean off the flux, but not bad at all. These were the whip and stops, just the drag, and then those were the little spot welds. I think it's gonna work great for this project. Just for fun, I brought this scrap stuff back to the shop, and I'd call that pretty solid penetration through, pretty even too. I stomped on it, bent it over, that steel bent, nothing happened to the weld. And again, these were those little spot welds. This was the solid pull, just run, and then this was with a little whip stop. So that's what that's able to do. It's a cute little weld. You know, something like this 16 gauge might be about all it can get into, but I would be happy with that on my projects at home. Pretty tiny tacks. We're gonna go up a little bit, up to 105, actually 110. Let's see if we can get a little more weld going on the back side here. Pretty darn happy with that. Getting pretty boogered up there, but that's okay. Keep running this down. I do have to say, if you've never welded in your life, this is a pretty unintimidating machine to use. One control knob with quick and easy setup. If you've been wanting to get into some welding, I think this is a great entry-level machine for just about anyone. Yeah, I don't think that's really going anywhere. My little gun is definitely getting hot here. Probably overdoing it, so I'm gonna let it sit a second. Got a little plastic burning smell to it. probably getting a little warm. So let's give it a break, and then we can weld the inside, and then this will be a wrap. I'm already really happy with how she's coming together. Ooh, it's hot. She's on there, just about time for it to get dark. I'm gonna make my cuts just to round this off, and then we're all done. Let me give you my thoughts on this Sefaspe MIG 135E for the money. Tackling little jobs like this, tacking things together, making things around the property, farm, in your garage. This is gonna give you a lot of freedom to play around with steel, and I'll say it's pretty darn consistent. I'll show you the welds here as I'm talking so you can see what I was doing. I haven't cleaned off the Flux, but just for gasless welding at home, quick project like this, I'm really, really happy. I think this will be a great addition to my tools at home for when I need to knock things out like this on the fly, get stuff done to make life more efficient and have a little fun too, right? So if you're in the market for a little gasless welder for home, definitely check out Sefaspe on Amazon. I'll put a link to this welder on Amazon in the description of this video. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was a little helpful. See how this machine is set up, quick and easy, start to finish. I could have done this if I wasn't recording in probably 15 minutes. Get everything cut, prepped, tacked, and welded. I'm really happy.